Victor Kane learned that grabbing people on live television can go very wrong very fast. Not because NBC told him, not because his employer John Wayne warned him, because Bruce Lee showed him, in front of 8 million viewers, in a time span so brief that most people watching didn't understand what happened until the replay. NBC Studios, Burbank, California. February 18, 1971, Thursday night. The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. This is peak American television. 8 million people watching. Families across the country. Late night ritual. Johnny Carson is an institution. When you appear on his show, you've made it. Tonight's episode features two very different guests. Bruce Lee, martial arts instructor and actor, relatively unknown to mainstream America but building recognition. And John Wayne, Hollywood royalty, the face of American Western films for 3 decades, promoting his latest movie. The studio audience is 200 people, seated in darkness beyond the bright stage lights. The set is simple. Johnny's desk, guest chair, couch, curtain backdrop. Professional, clean. This is where America talks to its celebrities. Bruce Lee sits on the guest couch, wearing dark shirt and slacks. His segment has been going well. He demonstrated the 1-inch punch, showed some basic techniques, explained Jeet Kune Do philosophy. Carson is genuinely interested, asking good questions. The audience is engaged. This is what the show does best. Introduce new ideas, new people, make them accessible. John Wayne sits in the second guest chair, wearing his signature cowboy hat, grey suit, boots. He's been on the show many times, comfortable here. He's scheduled to promote his film after Bruce's segment. Standard late-night format, multiple guests, staggered interviews. Wayne has been watching Bruce's demonstration with what appears to be polite interest. Not hostile, not dismissive, just watching. He's old-school Hollywood, understands showmanship, understands that everyone gets their moment. But standing backstage watching through the monitor is someone who doesn't understand or doesn't care. Victor Kane, John Wayne's personal bodyguard for the past 2 years, 6'4", 295 pounds, former military police, crew cut, square jaw, built like he was designed to intimidate. Victor was hired to protect Wayne from overzealous fans, handle crowd control at events, provide security. He's good at his job, professional, but he has opinions, strong opinions about what deserves respect and what doesn't. And right now, watching this small Chinese man demonstrate what Victor considers fake fighting on national television while his employer waits, Victor's patience runs out. The show is live, on-air, light glowing red, cameras rolling, 8 million people watching. Johnny Carson is mid-question, asking Bruce about training methods when movement catches his eye. Someone walking onto the set. Not during commercial, during broadcast. Victor Kane walks through the curtain, steps onto the stage, under the lights. Studio audience confused. This isn't part of the show. Cameras uncertain. Should they cut away? Carson stops talking, looks at the stage manager. What's happening? Victor walks directly toward Bruce. Purposeful, aggressive body language. Bruce notices. Stands from the couch, not defensive, just standing, waiting to see what this is about. Victor stops 2 feet from Bruce, looks down at him. 8-inch height difference, 160-pound weight difference. Says loud enough for the microphones to catch, "Enough of this kung fu nonsense. Mr. Wayne has a real movie to promote, real work to discuss, not this dancing." Studio audience gasps. Johnny Carson stands up from behind his desk. "Whoa, hold on, we're live here." Victor ignores him, reaches out, grabs Bruce Lee's collar, both hands, full grip, the kind of grab that says, "I'm moving you now." The kind of grab Victor has used countless times to remove people from situations. Confident, dominant, This is what he does. Bruce doesn't pull away, doesn't struggle, just looks up at Victor with calm eyes, says quietly, "You should let go." Victor laughs, not a friendly laugh. "Or what? You'll kung fu me?" This is real life, not a movie. Johnny Carson comes around the desk. "Gentlemen, we're on live television." John Wayne sits in his chair, still wearing his cowboy hat, not moving, watching his bodyguard manhandle a guest on live national TV. His face unreadable. Bruce says again, quieter, "Last chance. Let go." Victor's grip tightens. "Make me." What happens next takes approximately 4 seconds, but to the 8 million people watching, to the 200 people in the studio audience, to Johnny Carson standing helpless 3 feet away, it looks like magic, like physics stopped working, like reality broke. Bruce's hands move, not a wind-up, not a telegraphed motion. His fingers find Victor's wrists, specific points, pressure points where nerves cluster close to the surface. Bruce presses, precise pressure, exact angle. Victor's hands open involuntarily. Neurological response. Can't maintain grip. His fingers just release. The collar drops from his grasp. Second 2. Bruce's right hand strikes Victor's solar plexus. Not a full power blow, not trying to injure, just enough. Precise point, exact force. Victor's diaphragm spasms, breath exits, all of it, at once. Second 3, Victor's knees buckle. Not from pain, from neurological shutdown. His body stops obeying commands. Hands go to his stomach. Mouth opens, trying to breathe. Can't. Second 4. Victor sinks. Not falling, just lowering, down to one knee, then both knees. Now he's kneeling on the stage floor, on live television, in front of 8 million viewers. The massive bodyguard who grabbed the small martial artist is now on his knees, gasping for air. Bruce steps back, hands at his sides, calm, waiting, not celebrating, not gloating, just standing. The studio audience is completely silent. 200 people frozen, trying to process, trying to understand what they just saw. Johnny Carson stands there, mouth slightly open, his famous quick wit completely gone. He's seen thousands of hours of television, interviewed everyone, seen everything, never seen this. John Wayne sits in his chair, cowboy hat still on, but his expression has changed. The casual confidence is gone, replaced by something else. Shock, disbelief. He's watching his 295-pound bodyguard kneel on the floor, struggling to breathe after grabbing someone half his size. Victor's diaphragm finally releases. Air comes back, ragged, painful. He sucks in breath, then another. His lungs work again, but he doesn't stand, just stays there on his knees, face red, not from exertion, from humiliation. Bruce extends his hand, offering to help Victor up. Victor stares at the hand, then takes it. Bruce pulls. Victor stands, unsteady, still recovering, still trying to understand what just happened to his body. Bruce says quietly, meant only for Victor, "You're very strong, but strength without control is dangerous, especially when you use it on people you don't understand." Victor says nothing, can't find words. Johnny Carson finally recovers, goes into professional mode. "Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back." The stage manager signals. Cameras cut. Off air. The red light goes dark. The studio erupts. Audience talking. Crew members gathering. Everyone processing what just happened on live television. An unscheduled guest walked onto the set, grabbed the martial arts instructor, got put on his knees in 4 seconds, on live broadcast. John Wayne stands, walks over to Victor, says something quietly. Victor nods, walks off the set, doesn't look at anyone, just leaves. Wayne then walks to Bruce, extends his hand. Bruce shakes it. Wayne says, "That was real, wasn't it?" Bruce says, "Yes, sir, very real." Wayne nods. "I apologize for my employee. That was unacceptable behavior." Bruce says, "He was protecting you. Loyalty is valuable, but he needs to understand what he's protecting you from." Carson comes over. "Bruce, are you okay? Do we need medical for—" He looks where Victor was. "For either of you?" Bruce says, "I'm fine. He'll be fine in a few minutes. Just had his breath knocked out." Carson laughs nervously. "Just had his breath knocked out. Right. That's what we'll tell the network." The commercial break ends. They go back on air. Carson makes light of it. Says there was a brief interruption. Continues the interview with Bruce. Then Wayne's segment. But the energy has changed. The studio audience is different. They're watching Bruce with new eyes, watching Wayne with new awareness. Wayne's interview is subdued. He promotes his film, answers Carson's questions, professional, but distracted, his mind clearly elsewhere. After the show, Wayne finds Bruce in the hallway backstage, says, "I need to ask you something. Could you teach that, what you did?" Bruce says, "I teach principles. The specific technique requires years of training, but the principle is simple. Don't fight force with force. Redirect it, use it. Your bodyguard grabbed me with his strength. I used his structure against him, found his weak points, applied precise pressure." Wayne says, "I've been in hundreds of fights, movie fights, choreographed, controlled, but I've never seen anything like that. That was 4 seconds. Bruce says, "In a real situation, 4 seconds is a lifetime. Most people think fighting is about who's bigger, who's stronger. It's not. It's about who understands structure, leverage, and vulnerability." Wayne nods slowly. "I fired Victor just now. Not because he lost, because he put hands on a guest without permission. That's unforgivable." Bruce says, "He was trying to protect you." Wayne says, "From what? From you talking about martial arts. That's not protection, that's fear. Fear of things he doesn't understand. I can't employ someone who operates from fear." They talk for another 10 minutes. Wayne asks questions, real questions, about martial arts philosophy, about Eastern versus Western approaches to combat, about teaching. Bruce answers thoughtfully. By the end, Wayne has a different perspective. The next day, the incident is everywhere. NBC receives thousands of calls. Newspapers run stories. Bodyguard humiliated on live TV. Martial arts expert subdues attacker in seconds. The footage is replayed on news programs, analyzed, debated. Some people say it was staged, had to be. Nobody can do that for real. Others who were there, who saw it in person, insist it was completely real, completely unscripted. An arrogant bodyguard learned a very public lesson. Victor Kane disappears from public eye, doesn't give interviews, doesn't talk about it, just vanishes into private security work, away from celebrities, away from cameras. John Wayne never hires another bodyguard, not because he doesn't need security, because he learned something that night. Learned that real protection doesn't come from having the biggest, strongest person next to you. It comes from awareness, from understanding, from respecting things you don't fully understand. Bruce Lee's career shifts after that night. The Tonight Show incident becomes legend. People who dismissed martial arts as movie tricks see the footage, see a 295-pound man reduced to kneeling in 4 seconds with minimal visible effort. Suddenly, martial arts aren't just exotic foreign techniques. They're real, they're effective. Johnny Carson has Bruce back on the show 3 more times. Each appearance draws massive ratings. Each time Carson asks about philosophy, about teaching, about the Tonight Show incident, Bruce always answers the same way. I didn't want that to happen. But when someone puts hands on you aggressively, you respond appropriately, control the situation, minimize harm, restore peace. Years later, after Bruce's death, Johnny Carson dedicates a segment to him, shows the footage from that night. Says, "In 30 years of broadcasting, I've seen thousands of moments, but I've never seen anything like what Bruce Lee did that night. He didn't just defend himself, he taught everyone watching something about control, about precision, about what real mastery looks like." The footage still exists in NBC archives. 4 seconds that changed how America viewed martial arts. 4 seconds that taught a bodyguard he didn't know everything about fighting. 4 seconds that showed John Wayne even legends have blind spots. Victor grabbed a collar. Bruce released him from his assumptions on live television in front of 8 million witnesses, and everyone watching learned the same lesson Victor learned. Size doesn't matter when you're facing someone who knows exactly where your off switch is located.